area, our forecast for tomorrow is for mostly fair and cooler. And our high temperatures tomorrow, well, they'll be mainly in the middle and upper 60s, possibly a bit cooler in the beach areas and along the shore. But of course, if you'd like to keep up with the weather at any time during the weekend, simply pick up your telephone and dial WE 61212.
Here is our satellite photograph, and it's obvious where all the uncertain weather is. Over the Pacific Northwest, we have a large region of clouds and some wet weather that's heading into the country. Cool, too. Showers and thunderstorms breaking out down around the Gulf as warm southerly air moves up. It's a good deal of fog, and this is really one of the outstanding features on the satellite photograph. It is a huge storm system, not as intense as storm systems go, but it's a widespread area. This is Josephine, winds around the center up to 95 miles an hour. Look at the eye of the storm.
6 down, Soupy.
I think I recognize the eyes. Are you Dr. Frank Field?
It is.
That's it.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
From New York, The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. Johnny's guests tonight are Clint Eastwood, Joan Myers, NBC meteorologist Dr. Frank Field, psychologist Dr. Richard Evans, a Nina Ricci fashion show, and the world's greatest bouzouki player.
Those of you who watch the show regularly know, I guess it started some months ago, almost a year ago. I mentioned Dr. Frank Field on the air one night when we had a particular bad day. Said that it rained and he was running down, or it snowed. And the reason for it, I'd ask him, he says, the snow maiden was pregnant. Not made, that was a technical explanation. So this has been going on for some time, so we thought we'd ask him to be with us tonight to prove that there is a Dr. Frank Field, who is NBC's crack meteorologist. Would you welcome Dr. Frank Field? Is that for beating off people, Doctor, as you walk down the street today when they ask you what happened?
No, it's coincidence. Amazing, really, because this is my bouzouki.
Well, that's the bouzouki, folks.
No, this is my pointer, John, and I use it on the weather show. And
You know, we never really met until about, I guess, 2 or 3 months ago, one day in the elevator. We've been carrying on this horsing around on the shows. We thought it'd be a good idea. What happened today? Did you predict this today?
well, John,
You see, folks, this is the way it's going to be. I mean, I know I missed the forecast last night.
well, I did too.
Didn't predict rain for
No,
today?
we had, John, we really predicted showers moving in later tonight.
Later tonight.
And tonight came a little...
Tonight?
It came dark, right?
What's the technical explanation for that?
Well, we blew it.
What's the weather look like for this week? Is there nice weather in store for New York?
Well, everybody's so unhappy. Yeah, it'll be nice tomorrow.
How about coming up in the weeks ahead?
Well, we'll just keep warming it up as we go along. We'll bring back...
Do you think summer is going to get here or spring is going to get here soon?
Yes, it will.
All right. Is this going to be a particular... If you don't foresee anything in the immediate future, Frank, I want to thank you for being here tonight. Yes, Virginia, there is a Dr. Field. Good night. Dr. Field is with us tonight, but as a way of introduction, I thought we'd like to show you a little film biography we have compiled of his life. If you'll watch the monitors in the studio, the story of Dr. Field really begins with his grandfather, Elmo Field, the first weather forecaster in the family. There he is right there. Elmo traveled to San Francisco in 1906, predicting partly cloudy, and this is what he got. There. The next day, Elmo left by train to rejoin his wife in New York, unaware that his wife was leaving New York to rejoin him. Here they are meeting in Chicago. And now, would you welcome Dr. Frank Field.
The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severinsen, the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, Marlon Brando, John Davidson, actress Colleen Moore, Linda Ronstadt and the Stone Ponies, NBC's crack meteorologist Dr. Frank Field, and special guest, Mrs. Jacqueline Kennedy's former cook, Anna Marie Huste.
No, we have a great show tonight. Probably the finest actor in the business. Mr. Marlon Brando is with us tonight. We have great-looking boy and a fine singer, John Davidson, is aboard. A lady who made many, many motion pictures is not in pictures now, but is going to talk about some great days in Hollywood. Miss Colleen Moore. We have Linda Ronstadt with the Stone Ponies. They're more or less from California. I think this is one of the first times they've played back east. Is it not? Stat?
Yes,
And I mentioned our trick-or-treat weatherman. Dr. Field will be here as soon as he gets out of his headdress. You ever seen those antlers teeth he wears with a goat thing and the skin up on a roof? What does he know? He's got a low-pressure system right between his ears. And a big front moving in. So, anyway, hey, I'm dynamite. Hey, I'm a hit. Oh, stay where you are. Wheel over. This is a very special friend of mine. You've heard me mention him on this show before. His weather show here in New York is local, although Dr. Field has done shows on the network. If you haven't seen his show, we'll give you a short preview of what he does to me occasionally on his weather report on Channel 4 in New York occasionally. Watch.
Winds are out of the north at 11, but they are gusting up to about 20 miles an hour. Now, our winds will remain out of the north through tonight, and then tomorrow they should become variable, and they should become light onshore along the coast. That means temperatures climbing generally into the 60s. I'll be back with our forecast for tomorrow and the outlook for Thursday right after this brief message.
All righty, here. Oh. Here he is, NBC's crack meteorologist, Dr. Frank Field.
Look at my life, I'm a lot like you were.
For most of his 25 years on television, Dr. Frank Field hasn't had much competition. As the Dean of Television Weathercasters, he has become one of the most recognizable personalities in New York.
So we asked Dr. Field, whom I make a lot of jokes about, to come and explain this miserable weather we've been having. Would you welcome Dr. Frank Field? Doctor?
Affectionately known as NBC's crack meteorologist, he has even become a national figure of sorts, thanks to Johnny Carson's endless ridicule and pranks.
While we've been getting at least 14 days of solid rain, it's been sunny all over.
Rain or shine, Dr. Frank Field is to weather what Walter Cronkite is to news.
It is much more pleasant, much more happy for us. 78 degrees Fahrenheit, 26 degrees Celsius.
But 3 years ago, the competition hired Storm Field as WABC's new kid on the weather block, and he's since taken over much of his father's neighborhood.
I like people, and maybe it shows sometime because a lot of people like me.
Frank Field, News Center 4.
The challenge in taking technical subjects of science and health and weather and breaking it down into very simple terms. I like what I do. It's rewarding, and I don't know what else I would ever want to do.
Frank Field, weeknights at 6 and 11. New York's best on News Center 4.
When Johnny signs off tonight, he won't have any guests and will highlight some of his favorite moments from his 30-year reign. Early on in that reign, Johnny had some favorite moments with one of our favorite stars.
Would you welcome Dr. Frank Field?
Back in the 60s, when Johnny was taping all his programs at Rockefeller Center, I guess one of his writers, comic writers, thought it'd be fun to take a pop at the weatherman, and I was a perfect subject.
And that was the beginning of a beautiful and very public friendship.
Dr. Field recently received an honor, for his predictions that were 90% accurate, 6% of the time.
I didn't know how to get back at him because NBC was very conservative. You did not dare fool around with local or network news in those days. So what I did was, I took all pictures of John's that were rejects, and I cut the head out, and I pasted them on other pictures, and I would bring them on the air with a very straight face, and each night I would get back at him. And he just kept on picking on NBC's crack meteorologist.
The fun-loving feud would continue for years. Frank, with his deadpan delivery, taking pot shots at Johnny during his evening weather segments. And Johnny, who would turn the other cheek and invite Frank on The Tonight Show, no matter what the weather was.
14 days of solid rain. It's been sunny all over.
Carson pretty much took the cake one night when he snuck up on Frank during a live weather segment.
I was terrified. I was as rigid, and my voice went up several octaves, and I said, what is he going to do? We're live on the air, and I'm already in trouble with the news department, and here he is on the 11 o'clock news. And nobody could help me. I was alone, and Carson... Of course, the next day he was very nice. He apologized. He went on the national network and described what he had done to me, and that kept me out of trouble because he admitted that he had done it.
All of Johnny's fans, those on television and those who watch, will all miss him. Tonight, as he steps down from his desk job of 30 years, a chapter in TV history will come to a close.
When people watch the news, they want to know what went on in the world that day. They want to know what happened in the world of sports. They want to know what the weather's going to be tomorrow morning when they get up. And I think we have, without a doubt, the best sportscaster in New York in Marv Albert. I don't think there has ever been a better play-by-play man. Frank Field is a superb weatherman, a superb science reporter. Besides that, he's a lot of fun. Frank Field, Marv Albert, Chuck Scarborough, weeknights at 11, New York's best on News Center 4.
This is a New York Frank. This is a New York Frank. This is a sun. This is a sun. This is a storm. This is a storm. This is a father of a storm. This is a mother of a storm. You can see Father, Son, and Mother Nature starting August 24th on Channel 2 News, where the weather will always be better.
Now, you all know that one of my best friends in New York City in this whole world is Dr. Frank Field, the weatherman, meteorologist, and science reporter here at Channel 4 in New York. And in the years that I've known him since 1974, whenever we're together, he will be recognized on the street because he is enormously popular here in New York City. And people will shout out, there goes Dr. Frank Field, there goes Dr. Frank Field, there goes Dr. Frank Field, until you're tired of there goes Dr. Frank Field. He has a young son whose name is Storm Field, who is the weather forecaster and science reporter over on Channel 7, the ABC television station. Today, for the first time in my life, I'm walking with Frank Field. And I should tell you that Storm Field is an extremely attractive young guy. Women in this city absolutely love him on the Channel 7 news. And we're walking down the street, and a guy points at Frank Field and a young lady, and they say, look, there goes Storm Field's old man.
I'd just like to say thank you all.
I love this man so much because on the first day I came to work at Channel 4 here in New York, he said, we're going to change your life. I said, what do you got tonight? He says, we're doing a vasectomy on the news. This guy.
Tiny plastic beads are being used to speed the healing of various forms of skin ulcers and bed sores. Kidney has been exposed. It will now be a matter of about an hour before the kidney can be completely taken out of the body. The patient in this case is a 37-year-old woman.
Well, this morning we are going to switch to our live minicam at the Manhattan Eye, Ear, and Throat Hospital here in New York to observe a cataract operation in progress. And our guide will be Dr. Frank Field, NBC science reporter. Frank?
Thank you, Jim. We've been watching actually 2 cataract operations. One is in operating room number 2, one is in 1.
Some doctors say that a new medical scanner just may become a physician's diagnostic dream. Here to tell us about it is WNBC's Health and Science Editor, Dr. Frank Field. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. Glad you're back. It is on this Thanksgiving Eve that we are going to go back to New York Hospital and show you a remarkable machine in the middle of an operation here that is going to be able to dissolve kidney stones, actually blast them away without surgery. Frank Field is there at New York Hospital, and he can give us a word. Is that what I hear now, the sort of explosion, Frank?
7 years later, and I made it. More cancer patients are saying that now than ever before. 70% of you will never get cancer. Of those who do get it, half will beat it. If you have the right answers to our test, you can increase your chances of winning the fight against cancer. I'm Frank Field. This is the Cancer Prevention Test. This is microsurgery. The operation will take anywhere from 8 to 17 hours to complete. The patient is not breathing. He is on a respirator. This entire surgical operation is done while looking through that microscope. And the surgeon is using a specially designed scalpel, sutures, and tiny instruments. Our subject on research project for today, microsurgery.
This is Research Project, our aim to present the scientific experiments of one dedicated researcher and explain how his work affects you and your family. Our guest today is Dr. Leonard I. Mallis, Director of Neurosurgery, Mount Sinai Hospital, and our host, Frank Field.
I'll be at various locations asking questions about how the virus is transmitted, how it is not transmitted, and how it can be prevented. I'm Allison Field.
And I'm Frank Field. In spite of everything that's been written and said on the subject of AIDS, people still have misconceptions. Knowing the right answers to the questions that we're going to ask you may keep you from becoming another case history. Experts will answer questions designed to dispel the myths and the misconceptions about AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So stay with us. Take the AIDS test. This is not a story about the dinosaurs roaming the earth millions of years ago. This is really a story about water. Now, it may come as a surprise to you, but the water you drank today and the water in the shower you took today is the same water that these animals drank and bathed in. You see, water is indestructible. Nothing is ever added, nothing is ever lost. It is simply recycled. I'm Frank Field. Now, the trouble with water is that when it is recycled, it comes back at the wrong time, or it comes back at the wrong place, or we do the wrong things with it. What do you know about H2O? We'll tell you things about water you never knew. And we'll tell you things about the water you use that are unbelievable.
Tonight, live from Studio 2 at CNBC, it's Talk Live with Emmy Award-winning Health and Science Editor, Dr. Frank Field.
Hi, welcome to Talk Live. I'm Frank Field.
Funding for Prostate Update, a live report, was provided by the Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation, Menlo Park, California, Susan and Arthur Kern, and by the members of 13.
Good evening, I'm Frank Field.
Frank Field is sleeping on the job.
Now, just wait a minute. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. Actually, I'm hard at work. I'm trying to find out what it takes to stop those restless, sleepless nights. I'm even getting wired to monitor my dreams at a sleep lab. And I'm collecting great tips on how to get your kids to bed on time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really got to get back to work.
Don't miss Dr. Frank Field's special report, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep, tonight at 11 on Channel 2 News.